The xenomorph is back, but can Ridley Scott deliver the chills and thrills in Alien Covenant? Hello everyone, it's me Ben Almaden and welcome to Entertainment Zone. I'm here today for my review of Alien Covenant. Now, if you go way back when here on Entertainment Zone, you'll see that I was a huge fan of Ridley Scott's Prometheus, the prequel to Alien. I'm a big fan of the Alien franchise in general. Prometheus was very controversial. A lot of people enjoyed it, a lot of people hated it. Personally, I thought Prometheus delivered something bold, refreshing, new. It added to the mythology, it gave us great character development, explored some really deep themes, and that's why I loved it. So that is why I was so excited to see its sequel, Alien Covenant. Now, as I say, it's a sequel set 10 years after Prometheus, but still we're before the events of the original Alien. And to be honest with you, what a horrendous, disappointing movie. I cannot believe that a legendary visionary like Ridley Scott has delivered a film like this. The screenplay comes courtesy of John Logan and Dante Harper, who, to be honest, I don't know why they were chosen to write this script or why Ridley was so happy with it, because honestly, I thought the script was the weakest part of the movie. There's a number of reasons why I didn't like Alien Covenant. Firstly, we have a cast of characters who are not developed at all. Michael Fassbender is great as the android David and also as the new android Walter, and perhaps these two are the only characters to get any character development whatsoever. We have Katherine Waterston in the movie as Daniels and Billy Crudup as Aurum, and Crudup especially, I loved him in Watchmen, so I was quite excited about him. And Daniels, it was very clear they were trying to make her Ripley-esque, and failing so badly. None of the characters outside of Michael Fassbender's roles are developed at all. They are literally cannon fodder for the Alien. The screenplay itself is just horrendous. If you have seen Alien, you have seen this movie. Honest to God, it felt like a remake. People bashed Prometheus for not being enough like Alien, but that's why I enjoyed it. It delivered something bold, new and refreshing, whereas Alien Covenant has gone too much the opposite direction. It is too much like Alien. Literally, it feels like a remake. There's some gory death scenes in the movie, yes, but nothing we haven't seen before. I will honestly say Alien Covenant is one of the most unoriginal movies I have ever seen. Now, visually, the film looks great, of course. There's no denying Ridley Scott has got a real eye for the camera. He can make things look beautiful. There's some great sets on the film. There's some great set pieces and action sequences, which is great. But in a movie where you don't care about any of the characters, there's no character development, and the plot is paper thin, sadly, this is just not enough. Now, the film does have a twist in it at the end, but honestly, you'd have to have half a brain to not see it coming. And let me tell you, I saw the twist coming very, very early on. Well, there's actually maybe two twists, and both of them I saw coming. It was just so obvious. It was like a script by numbers, and I just can't stress enough how disappointing it was. And for those of you hoping to see more of Elizabeth Shaw from Prometheus, all I'll say is be prepared to be extremely, extremely disappointed. I cannot stress enough how just terrible this film is. I mean, yes, the xenomorph's back, and it looks great. It really does. And as I say, there's some amazing death scenes, but in general, the film is just so weak. The film also doesn't expand on the mythology that was set up in Prometheus. We obviously find out what happened once, David and Shaw left the planet at the end of Prometheus, yes, but even that's very disappointing. And you know, the space jockeys aren't really featured in this film. You know, we don't get to learn any more of them, and we're no closer to finding out how the space jockey ship ended up on the planet from Alien. It just didn't tie together well at all. It was just a very messy movie that didn't bring anything original to the table and didn't move the franchise along. Personally, I would have rather seen Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 than this. I know there was talk of Blomkamp's film possibly erasing Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, which, yeah, is controversial. I actually like Alien 3. But I would rather have seen that than this mess of a film. It was just shambolic. Daniels, I presume, was meant to be the leading lady. She was not developed at all. It was clear by her costume and by her actions they were trying to make her very Ripley-esque, and it just failed. You know, at least with Elizabeth Shaw in Prometheus, they gave us a character very different to Ripley, but who stood up in her own right, you know, and she could stand up against Ripley. You know, she was another very interesting female character. But Daniels, just like most of the crew of the Covenant, are just not developed at all. Honestly, most of the characters, I couldn't even tell you their names. They literally are cannon fodder for the Alien. And if you want to go to see a film to pass the time and see a few people get killed by an alien, yeah, great. But if you're looking for a bit of sci-fi horror with some depth and some expansion on the Prometheus and Alien mythology, then you will be so disappointed. I honestly cannot say how disappointing this movie is, and it baffles me that there are some critics out there raving about it. People saying it's going back to its roots, yeah, because it's a remake of Alien. It was very, very poor. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts, because I feel like this film is going to be even more controversial than Prometheus. You know, Prometheus, people loved it, hated it. There was some in the middle, and I strongly feel that this film is either going to be very strongly loved it or very strongly hated it. I was so disappointed. As I say, it had the visuals going for it. It had some cool death scenes which were gory, but that was the film's only saving grace, and for that reason I give the film 2 out of 5. Now, I may or may not film a separate spoiler video discussing why in depth I was so disappointed, but honestly, the film speaks for itself. Lack of character development, very obvious twists, very poor screenplay, and nothing original brought to the table. Well guys, I'm going to leave it there for now, but again, leave your comments. I want to hear what you thought of Alien Covenant. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you think I'm nuts for hating it? Let me know in the comments. And remember, for all the latest film reviews, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube. Entertainment Zone is on Tumblr at entertainmentzone.tumblr.com. And you can find me on Twitter at BLMaden. That's at BLMADEN. And until next time, guys, take care and speak to you soon.